Hello Gemini, Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. Excuse the makeshift situation here. I'm in transit, so I'm actually recording this on my mobile phone rather than my usual camera in the studio at home, and I'm just still toying a little bit with the lighting here so that you can get a decent view of me. There's no point getting angry over money this month. You know, we've got an opposition from the moon, your finance planet, to Mars, the sixth house of debt. The interesting thing, Mars has just decided to go back into its forward motion. It is stationary right now. It rules your 11th house of profits. It's in the sixth house of debt. Moon is ruling your finance sector, your income. So you can see why I've connected all of those little threads and said that at least the first part of the month has a lot to do with money. On top of that, on the 5th, there is a new moon taking place in the second house of income. That would be a far better way for you to deal with these frustrations that you're experiencing, because the new moon does show a more creative approach, a new chapter, turning over a new leaf. Pardon me. And therefore, after this period, we see that you have a real opportunity to dovetail some of those negative feelings about money, these misgivings about how much money you're spending, perhaps the debts that are climbing. So I do see this first part of the month as being one very much anchored in issues of finance. The sixth house also has to do with your work, so there could be some disputes there. There could be some sort of inequity you're experiencing in the workplace this month as well. And that's shown also by the continuing transit of Neptune in your 10th house of career. That shows a little bit of imagination, spirituality, but also sort of grey areas. And with Mars there in the 6th house, usually that does show some disputes likely with co-workers. So take a step back, think creatively, and after the 5th, I think when that new moon takes place, you will be able to do something special with that energy. You know, it's all about how you dovetail that energy. You know, if you've got a lot of aggression and you're not doing any sort of exercise, there's an example of where that energy can go off the rails. And you can also expect some manipulation associated with finances, with Pluto transiting into that, through that 8th house of your horoscope, also retrograde now, indicating some very, very powerful opportunities. It's the ruler of your 6th house in the 8th house, which is good. It brings opportunities, but it can also show that there's a necessary transformation likely, especially after that new moon. So things can change dramatically. I hope you've got a plan in place. You need a bit of a buffer zone there. That can sometimes indicate unexpected expenses. Now those expenses may not be for bad reasons. They may just be expenses that, for example, if you're a business person going into building the business, marketing your services, they're expenses that, although they're expenses, they are in a sense investments and can bring back some positive results for you through the mechanism of trust. You've got to trust throughout this period, Gemini. It's very, very important for you to do that. Mercury is your ruling planet. There are some powerful transits there as well. We see, for example, that after the 11th, leading up to the 11th anyhow, there's a trine aspect from your ruling planet to Mars, and that is usually quite good. That's showing communication, especially with those adversaries in your workplace, customers and people that actually work for you. A strong sort of fruitful communication can take place around that time. That's also against the background of the conjunction of your ruling planet to Venus in that 2nd house. So that's very creative, it's very poetic. It gives you the ability to speak well and to put forward your case with very productive results. There's a full moon taking place again in your 8th house, so we can see this financial thing going on for you. New opportunities for earning money, but the need for you to get out of your own way and look at things objectively. If you're too fixated on something, you may in fact miss some salient points or factors that are going to cause you to put a foot wrong. Consultation is important, talking to people that can help you, and believe it or not, those adversaries, the people that we've seen in the earlier part of your reading that could be a problem for you in the workplace, may actually be the people that can help you. Sometimes if we're too stubborn about a position, we forget that those people that are in conflict with us may actually have something to contribute to the scenario. So I want you to keep that in mind. Relationships are on a bit of a slippery slope with Jupiter, your ruler of, your long-term solidified relationships, in conjunction with the North Node in your 4th house. So that's showing a need to change the way you relate to the person you're with, or your partner starting to exhibit some aspects of their personality that you may not have even been aware of. Sometimes our progress as individuals is at varying rates. Our evolution takes place at different times. It could be that your partner's evolutionary rate is accelerating right now, and you have to be open enough to allow that person the changes that are necessary for their personal development. Venus is the ruler of your 5th house, which is love affairs. It also has a strong connection to the 2nd house of finance. Perhaps there's some independence that your partner wants during this period, and if you've been accustomed to a certain way of doing things, then you need to be open enough to change that up and give them a sense of independence. Things can improve with the trine aspects of Venus to Mars on the 7th, and also the trine aspect of Venus to Saturn on the 20th. And Saturn is in your 7th house. So that further consolidates what I'm saying about things having been a little bit difficult for you in that area. Now, if you don't get some system of communication in place now, that could present a problem for you when Mars moves into the 7th house and makes contact with Saturn down the track. That's in the next couple of months. I'll be talking about that more probably through August, in the August monthly reading, but I'm giving you a bit of a heads up to get yourself prepared in terms of the way you're communicating and in terms of the way you view your partner, and especially where it comes to their philosophy of money. Stay tuned. Look at what we have there as an additional for the month of July at astrology.com.au. Take advantage of a lot of the freebies. We have readers such as myself there ready to help you if you need a more personalised view on what's happening. And I do look forward to seeing you here next month.